What's going on, guys? It's Tyson here, and today I've got another video for you all. So today I want to talk about why all diets are bullshit. Now I know what you're saying, like, oh well, no they're not, they work, yeah right. But I'm not saying that they're bullshit, that they don't work. I'm saying that they're bullshit because a lot of what people argue about, or what type of diet you're on, they roughly promote the same thing. So whether you're paleo, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, gluten-free, it doesn't matter. It all comes down to a lot of common things, right? They're all bullshit because everyone wants to try and place themselves in one specific area. Like, we always like to cult ourselves, alright? Everyone loves to jump on the new diet and go, oh, well, I'm vegan now, or I'm vegetarian, and this is the only way to go, like, or I'm paleo, this is the only way to go because, you know, it's such good health benefits, we should be eating this way because you get such more energy, and people just always, like, you know, we're just so dogmatic in our approach, right? Like we could say, you know, so I've got a friend she's a vegan, and she said she's never felt better, she's never had clearer skin, she's never felt like she's had more energy than since she's been a vegan. And I was like, oh, that's fair enough, like, you know, it's a fair call. But then I work with a friend who, she's completely paleo, and she's said she's never made such big strength gains before, she's never looked this good before, and she's always, you know, she feels so great, and it's because of paleo. And I was like, well, isn't it funny that no matter what diet somebody chooses, they tell you that this is the best they've ever been feeling and this is the only way. Like, some people, you know, they don't push it against you. They don't tell you should be paleo or vegan. But some people do, because they tell you this is the optimal way, there's every other way, it's just bad. But really, we're all fighting over the same thing. How can two people spout such health benefits about two completely different diets? One's all about meat, one's all about no meat. One's about having some fish, one's about having no gluten at all. There's, like, everyone's so one-sided and black and white to their approach, saying this is the only way they should be doing it. Like, you know, vegan's the only way to do it because meat is going to kill you. Red meat's horrible. Or you should be doing paleo because that's what our ancestors did, and if our ancestors did it, why shouldn't we do it? We should eat exactly like they did. There's so much argument about who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. Like, you know, are vegans that right? Or are vegetarians right? Or are paleo right? Or, you know, everyone just thinks they're in the boat that's going to be the saviour to everything. But when it all comes down to it, it boils down to a few key points. The thing we don't realise is that what most of these argue against each other, there's more similarities in the diets than there is actually differences. So when you look at paleo, or vegan, or vegetarian, or gluten-free, anything, they have a fair few commonalities, right? They all promote whole foods, fruits, and vegetables. You know, that's the main thing of the diets, okay? It doesn't matter what you look at, they all promote foods and vegetables, like fruits and vegetables. And you know why? Because they're the key. It's not eating red meat or not eating red meat. It's not not eating gluten or eating wheat or gluten. It's just eating the right foods for your body. If you ask someone who's been on a diet, right, like my friend, she went from vegan. If I asked her what her diet was before that, she'd probably say, like, you know, I can ask her, and she said, oh, well, I used to eat junk food, I used to, you know, drink Coke and things like that, and as soon as I jumped onto vegan or vegetarian, I just felt great. Same as a paleo person. Same as anybody else. Usually what happens is when people jump on a diet, it's not that all of a sudden they feel great because of that specific diet. It's most likely because they've cleaned up the way they're eating. They've stopped eating processed crap. They've stopped consuming fizzy drinks. They've started eating more fruit and vegetables. If they're paleo, that, like, you know, they've started eating more lean meats, or they've started eating more like, you know, beans and legumes and things like that. And people don't realize that those things, when you make those choices, you're gonna feel better. Your body's gonna respond better. You're gonna feel a lot healthier and have more energy because you're fueling your body with the right type of nutrients. You could be deficient in these type of things, and you never knew it until you actually started eating right. So I don't feel like there's one diet that suits any approach. It's choosing things that are going to be the most optimal for you. Everybody knows you've got to eat healthy. You've got to eat your fruits and vegetables. And that's what all diets come towards. Like, I don't understand why there's such a big discrepancy. okay, I can see for vegans that it could be ethical, it could be religious, or it could be the environmental thing because, agriculture, especially killing animals and things like that, some people just don't like it. Obviously it's wrong to some people, or I'm not going to get into it here, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's ethical reasons, it's environmental reasons, and things like that. Then there's people who are the paleo who are saying our ancestors should be eating like we should be eating like our ancestors. And that's all well and true, that's fine, But apart from that, there's no super health benefits from eating a specific way. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, you're most likely going to be lacking nutrients. You're going to be lacking iron, vitamin B12, and other nutrients. Like, if you get vitamins and mineral tests, you're probably going to be deficient in some of these things. But people don't think about that. They're like, no, I just feel great. And then, they might say one day they feel bad, or they feel like, they don't have enough energy. Then they realise they're lacking nutrients. Someone who's paleo, who might be just eating too much red meat, it might be too much for their body. They might be getting too much, nutrients. Like, they might be getting too much iron. Some people get too much iron from eating too much red meat. I've got a friend whose brother, he can't have too much iron. He actually has to donate blood. So there's always going to be a risk reward no matter what you do. There's no one size fits all approach. Like, I don't care if you're a vegan. I don't care if you're paleo. Whatever you do it because of some specific reason. But if it's because you think it's going to be a health benefit, because you think this is the way, then you're wrong. Because if you're thinking in black and white, you're never going to let your mind expand. If you're stuck in this one method of thinking, well, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a shitty life if you live that same type of principles day in and day out, and you won't change it because you're not open to change, because you're so set in your ways. You're probably going to be deficient in your nutrients, and you're probably going to not make as much progress as you want to make because you're so stuck in your ways. A famous billionaire named Charlie Munger actually said he will never argue his point and stay with that point unless he can argue the opposition against him. So if you're paleo, why don't you research what makes veganism so good and why is it so healthy? If you're a vegan, why not research paleo? So you can actually argue, you can actually counter-argue each other, so you have a good reason to actually be it. Because if you're just a paleo just because, and I say, okay, well then why is vegan bad? Oh, because they're not having red meat. Well, why is not having red meat good? Because they're not getting nutrients from... Like, if you can't have a reason for it, or if you can't say why veganism would actually be better than paleo, you don't deserve to say this is the one size that fits all, because it doesn't fit all approaches. Everyone's going to be different. And if you're paleo and you're saying, well, this is how our ancestors ate, not all of our ancestors ate like that. Like, depends on what type of paleo you are. Think of people in Alaska. They don't eat the same as people who were in Australia, who didn't eat the same as people who were in Europe. Everyone had different things, Alaskans, they ate a lot more animal fat. They had a lot more, like, blubber and things like that. Obviously, in Europe, they would have more, what's the word called? They'd have more vegetables, potatoes, things like that. Down in Australia, eat more red meat, eat more kangaroo. It's all different for different people. So, like, again, paleo, do you know where your ancestors come from? No. Or have you done research? These are the things you've got to decide, guys. You can't just say, I'm in this one-size-fits-all approach. And that's why they're all bullshit. You're just trying to market yourself as some type of person who's stuck in a diet, and you don't have a good reason why, or, it's just we're so black and white. So the main thing for any diet, no matter what you're on, you shouldn't even, let's say you didn't choose a diet. What should you focus on? Well, what do they all focus on? Fruits, vegetables, unprocessed food, don't have your sugary drinks, have your meat if you like your meat, like I do. If you're vegan because of ethical and religion reasons and environmental, sure, don't have your meat. But just, if you don't want to die, just focus on consuming whole foods. If you're vegan and it's not for ethical reasons and it's just because you think it's the healthier way, try some meat. If you're paleo, try and remove some meat. Try different things, guys. You've got to learn to experience, because if you just go say, oh, well, that's always wrong, but have you tried it? No, because it's just wrong. But if you haven't tried, how do you know? How do you know what's going to be best for your body? You don't. And that's the thing that we're stuck in with today, and that's why all diets are bullshit. So what I'm going to actually be doing is experimenting with my body. I'm going to be doing a food elimination diet. I've got a friend who's vegan, a friend who's paleo. I know someone who's pescatarian, and people who avoid gluten. So what I want to do is try each of these out and show you guys what's going to be happening. So this week is my last week of dairy. I'm getting rid of my yogurt, and that's the last thing to go, and then I'm going to be completely dairy free. After that, I'm going to eliminate all my red meat. I'm anemic, so I'm going to need to supplement iron. But after I've eliminated all my red meat for a week or two, then I'll get rid of all my white meat. So then I'll be vegetarian. After vegetarian, I'm going to eliminate my eggs, and I'll be vegan. And I'm going to try vegetarian for a month, and then vegan for a month. And then I'm going to try paleo for a month, slowly increment it back in. Because you know what? I'm going to show you guys over the next couple of months that no matter what diet I'm on, I'm most likely going to be healthy and enjoying my life. I'm not going to say this is the best diet. I mean, I might find a couple of things on the way. I might find that I really do prefer veganism. I might feel better, or I might not. But you know what the main thing is? I'm going to show you guys there's no black or white answer. So that's it for the video today, guys. I hope it was informative. Like I said, don't just stick to any dogmatic approach. Try and move yourself around a little bit, try different things. If you like the video, make sure to like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to all of you guys on the next video.